Hello, welcome to the session today, our collaborative session. Today we're going to discuss the writing process, and we're also going to discuss the rubric that we'll use to give feedback for writing. At the end of today's session, what I hope is that you have a more clear understanding of the expectations of following the writing process, which is primarily used in order for you to be successful in completing the writing assignments in class. So, along with the course materials that we have posted about the writing process and also the feedback rubric that we will use in class, today I'm just going to briefly walk you through those steps and also the process of writing. So, please don't feel like if you have questions and further questions that there's no way to find out because I'm just an email away and also a call away where if you have questions, further questions about the writing process or the rubric that we're going to use to give feedback, then please just give me a shout. So, primarily with the writing process, each paper that's assigned to you, you will primarily go through 5 stages to get to the point of beginning the process of writing and towards the end of actually writing the assignment. So, the first step that you'll find in the writing process is what we call brainstorming. And of course, during brainstorming, that's when you have a writing topic and yet you want to find out or utilize a strategy to select an actual topic. So during the brainstorming, you're actually um, using strategies in order to select an idea or a topic to write about. And we'll talk about some of those strategies as we get going with class. So after you brainstorm and after you actually select your first topic, then you would actually write your first draft. Now, I'm going to tell you, during the first draft, you're not really concerned a lot about the grammar and grammar and the spelling as much. You just want to get all of your ideas out during the first draft. And so, after you've selected your topic, then you write your first draft and you have your ideas all out on paper. So once you have your ideas out on paper, then we get to the revising and editing. So you have your first draft. Now it's time to fine tune it. So what you will do is you'll get feedback from your peers. You'll also get feedback from me, your professor. And at this time, this stage of the writing, you'll be able to use some outside resources like the Writing Center in order to give you feedback on whether or not your writing is aligned to the rubric and also to the standards that are set forth for that actual assignment. So your paper will be marked up and suggestions will be given. And after those suggestions are given, then you would actually be able to rewrite your paper. It's during that rewrite where you want to pay more attention to the grammar, to the feedback that your peers and your professor, and also the Writing Center may have given you. You also want to look to see how closely aligned your paper is to the rubric, which we'll discuss next. And from there, once you rewrite, um, some may feel that you are ready to go to the published and final copy, but I would strongly suggest that you go back actually to the revising and editing step to actually get more feedback after your first, actually, it'd be your second rewrite. So you go from draft, revising and editing, getting feedback, you rewrite, and then usually you'll go back to the revising and editing where you'll get additional feedback, where you'll continue to look to see if your paper is aligned to the rubric, and then you'll rewrite again. And then possibly after that second or third or sometimes fourth rewrite, then you'll be ready to publish your final draft. And I have to tell you, even after 8, 9 times that I've rewritten papers, there just always seems more that I could contribute to the paper and revising it, but there has to, of course, be a cutoff because we're guided by time in class. And so those are the 5 stages to our writing process that we'll pretty much follow throughout our course. So next, I want us to spend a brief moment looking at the rubric, one of the rubrics that we'll use in class. And so you see here that this particular rubric, as we're looking at constructing our paper, on the left side here, we look at organization and coherence, lexicon word choice, idea development, voice and personality, expectations of conventions, and sustained focus. So as you're writing your paper, you want to keep these main areas in mind. And the beauty of this rubric is it lets you know, uh, I guess, a leveling of how well you're doing with your paper. So from the novice level to the advanced level, in each one of these categories, you'll be able to determine how well your paper is aligned with the top portion. Of course, getting towards the advanced stages of writing. For instance, as you're looking at how well you've organized your paper, as a reader looks at your paper, they'll look to see, are you just rambling on and there's no connection to the topic and what you're writing? Or is your paper more meaningful and effective where it has a strong beginning, middle, and end? So on this end, a person would ramble, really not make connections as they're going from one paragraph to the next, that it doesn't necessarily flow smooth, to more of an advanced paper to where the paper is meaningful, staying on topic, it has a strong beginning, middle, and end. You can also look down here. Let's skip down to sustained focus, whether or not there's no clear main idea. And we'll talk about how to begin your paper with a strong main idea and thesis and to build from your thesis. Or looking at more of an advanced paper as we consider sustained focus. An advanced paper would have a main idea is adhered to throughout and is well developed. So that paper would receive a 4 in this area. So once your paper is written, and you can actually do a self-check and just kind of go through, and for each one of these areas, you might mark 2, 3, 2, 4 here. And once you get all of your totals, what you would do is you would add up your totals. And there's a point structure here. And we would utilize this point structure in order to determine grade. So this would actually be a great self-check for you, or for you to get feedback from a peer to be able to determine how well your paper is aligned to the expectations that are listed in the syllabus. So I want to thank you for walking through our stages of writing and also looking very briefly at our rubric that we'll use for writing. And that will end our collaborative session here. If you have any questions, please definitely send. And actually, I say collaborative session is more of a direct session. If you have any questions, then please, I'm just an email away, or give me a call. Have a great day or evening.